Tiffany is definitely in her feelings. I don't think she has the right to be in her feelings. Matter of fact, if anything, it's hypocritical. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan, and this is yours truly, Ryan. And if you see the pop-up, you know what to do. Please help your boy get to his goal of 1,000 subscribers, simply put. So we're talking about the Shy. What is this, episode, I want to say 7? Nevertheless, we are talking about the latest episode of the Shy. And if you've seen these recaps of the Shy, I feel like there's so much to dive into. I may not go in chronological order. Instead, I just may follow some of the key storylines from this episode. So let's get into it. The Emmett and Keisha storyline is definitely still interesting, of course. Probably one of the more entertaining storylines, in my opinion. Especially because I really feel like overall this season has really been centered around the kids, if nothing else. But starts off with Emmett and Keisha doing their love making thing, and all of a sudden we forget Tiffany still has the key and walks in on them, getting it in. Definitely awkward situations all around. Tiffany is definitely in her feelings. I don't think she has the right to be in her feelings. Matter of fact, if anything, it's hypocritical. But she's in her feelings. She's just simply there to pick up her son. And, we definitely see like a verbal spat, within back and forth between those two. And we also notice that, definitely if you remember season 1 until now, I do really applaud the maturity that Emmett shows. Emmett even steps up for Keisha. Like, hey, if you're going to be mad at anybody, you be mad at me. Ain't no need to, be shady or act funny towards Keisha in any way. Loving the maturity of Emmett from season 1 till now has been pretty dope. And so there's an argue back and forth. Tiffany definitely reminds him about like a parent teacher meeting pertaining to their child together. So once again, just stick with that storyline. They definitely meet up there and find out that, although the son is well behaved, definitely a bright addition to the class, unfortunately, he's kind of learning, not learning as quickly as the others. And so now they have to do the co-parent thing and come up with a game plan to really buckle down and focus on, helping their son. And that's one thing, I guess, I haven't went through that personally, but that's the one thing about co-parenting, especially when you're not together anymore. You got to make it work. You got to put your personal beefs aside. And clearly, Tiffany is so upset that the personal beef is like blowing up in front of this teacher. Teacher sets them straight, of course, letting them know like this is not about you. It's about the child. Y'all need to read to the child more often, this and the third, all that. So I thought that was dope. And of course, the other part of this is the whole Keisha dynamic. Keisha is still yet another one of my favorite characters. She went through so much, especially from back when she was being kidnapped. But she's trying to do her college thing. They got music blasting from the other people in the apartment. Her son is crying. She's stressed out. Damn near about to breaks down and cry. So that has to be tough for her. And I did like how she, had to come to realization. Either she moves back in with her mom, or she moves in with Emmett. Once again, another maturity example from Emmett. Clearly, he's open to the idea of Keisha moving in, but because Keisha feels, I guess, guilty or kind of scared of Tiff, she don't want to move in. So she sounds like she's going to make it work by moving in with her mom. And I really hope that she just moves in with Emmett, because Emmett, once again, making those key points. It's like, first of all, Tiffany up and move in with Rob, aka Iman Shumpert. So it's like, you know, I don't see why Keisha would feel bad about moving in. And yet again, even though Tiffany and Emmett were married and on the verge of getting divorced, it's not like this is a brand new girl. Like Keisha and Emmett were an item even before Tiffany and Emmett got together. So but we'll see where that storyline goes. I really think Tiffany's in the wrong, is in her feelings 100%. And that's just what it is, man. And the other storyline I thought was pretty dope. Like I said, I feel like this was really focusing on the kids, which I have no problem with. It's nice to see how these kids are growing up. Kev, Simone, and Lene, they go down to the video game tournament, trying to learn, wishing Kev good luck and stuff. And Kev is he's seeing his future develop before his eyes. He is becoming the dude when it comes to gaming. So I'm loving it. He apparently won, some type of amount of money. She's almost even though Lene's not part of the team, Lene is kind of like this coach behind the scenes. So I think that's dope. I just like how that's coming together, man. And in my opinion, one of the themes that I felt about this episode, one of the several themes, is how they're really showing how you can make a way. There are other ways to make a living if you don't feel like college is for you. We definitely see that Jemma has doubt about going to college. She actually wants to do the music manager thing, even though Maisha got accepted to a college. She really wants to pursue this rap thing, and is, all in on Jemma believing in her. So I thought that was dope. And who knows, the same might go for Kev. Kev actually had that conversation at one point after he won the tournament for his group. Had the conversation with Simone about the possibility of making this video game thing a career, and Simone is also, as eccentric as she can be, she's also been very encouraging to Kev and saying you can make a career out of anything. So who knows, maybe that's a path that Kevin takes as well. So I really just like that. They're really highlighting. And once again, I'm not trying to highlight that theme as if I'm anti-college. I went to college, good amount of people that I know or, in my family went to college. But with that being said, if college isn't for you, there are other ways to strive in this world without college. One of my best friends didn't finish college, but he was working with a particular company ever since he was in high school, and he literally just climbed the ranks until he got to like this regional manager position that pays very well, and he's making a living. I have a family member who, although he is still young, decided, I'm going to go to LA and I'm going to try to pursue my dreams of becoming an actor. So my point is, if you feel like college isn't for you, that's fine. I don't think there's anything to hang your head about. I don't think there's anything to turn your nose at if someone says they don't want to go to college. My whole thing is just have a game plan if college is not for you. As I mentioned, going back to the episode of The Shy, Kev is very promising. Clearly, he's very promising when it comes to this whole professional gamer thing. And same thing, Maisha. Even though it's very hard, or it can be challenging to get into the rap game, Maisha definitely is skilled enough to possibly make it work, especially with Jemma's managerial skills. And who knows how Jemma's father can help both of them out. So that's all I'm saying. So I think that's very dope for the kids. And you're sticking with the whole thing with the kids. I know it's sad to say, man, but with the whole Bakari situation, we see Bakari and Poppy. I gotta find out what else they call him. I can't be calling another man Poppy, but for right now, what's his name? Poppy or Papa? I think it's Papa since he's not Spanish. But they go to the concert to see Maisha perform, and some kids, they're just, got a chip on their shoulder is the best way I could describe it. We see the whole thing of Bakari, having an attitude with the security guard, because, that's the security guard's job, is to be stern with people. So they have a little bit of war words before, Papa actually pays for Bakari to get into the event. And, for the mere fact that you're already in the club, man, or whatever they're at, you're already there. Like, whatever amount of altercation you got with the security, you got to leave that alone, man. But he can't leave it alone. He can't just sit back and enjoy the Maisha performance. He has to go back and, I guess he's fighting with the guy who laughed at him. And then security jumps in and guns come out and, shots rang off in the ceiling. Luckily, it didn't hit anybody, but unfortunately, a stampede, occurs and Jemma falls and unfortunately loses the baby as a result. And I bring up that whole thing just to say, you can't help someone who's not willing to help themselves. Is my whole point. It's like, I like what Shad is trying to do for the young boy by bringing him into a home and even gonna warn like, hey man, just we got a home here for you, but you gotta work with us, man. You gotta try to be more level-headed. You gotta you gotta try. We're trying to guide you in the right direction, but you gotta want it too. For example, you can't go to a personal trainer and be like, I want to be in shape, but yet you still eat junk food or you're not committing to working out with whatever workout plan your personal trainer gives you. You're wasting your time. And unfortunately, that seems to be the same with Bakari. It's like, I can't lead you on the right path if you're not willing to put some effort into it. If you're always quick to, bust a gun or to be in some violent shit especially when it's not necessary, I can't help you, bro. Like, so I don't want to just sound like you got to turn your back on certain people. But I do think you have to turn your back on the ones who act like they don't want to help themselves. That's all I'm saying. So it's a very unfortunate situation. Of course, for obvious reasons, they had to kick him out of the house because you can't. Jake is clearly mad. You got Jake and Bakari under the same roof, so one of them got to go, and it has to be Bakari. So that whole thing is also just was very unfortunate. And back to the adults, we'll go ahead and end it with my final two storylines in this episode. I did like how, Shad, I'm still on the fence because I don't know what that whole social media thing about other women, saying some things that may be inappropriate if Deja found out. Definitely on the fence about that. But at least in this episode, Shad, he definitely was a bright spot yet again, in my opinion. We definitely get the whole, hey, let's not mention this, let's do that talk, before Shad meets Deja's family, and when they finally do meet, we definitely see the judgments, start, especially from the daughter. I'm sorry, man, like, if Shad catches that daughter anywhere else, you gotta cuss her out, bro. You gotta cuss her out, because she was coming at Shad very reckless, very disrespectful, saying, oh, I've been everywhere, I don't see you where you been at, this and the third. What else was she saying? Once he found out that he was a former felon, say, oh, I knew he wasn't shit, this is why our parents sacrificed everything, so you don't got to be with people like him. Like, she was talking to Shad reckless. I mean, like, disrespectful reckless. And so that's all I'm saying, man. It's like, you don't got to talk to dude that way, so if I'm Shad and there's a situation to where the parents aren't around or Deja, I gotta cuss her the fuck out. I gotta cuss her out. Like, you can't just be talking to me like that, dog. So nevertheless, I did like how, even though it, from the slip of the tongue, he admits that he was in prison. I did like that he, had no choice but to be himself, and he stood on that. Like, yes, I went to prison, but I learned from my mistake. I was young. I didn't have anyone to guide me. But, don't focus on my past. That's one bar I did like from him. That one girl was like, he said something to the fact that, you don't need to judge me on my past. And she was like, well, what do we judge you on then? And he was like, you judge me on who I am now. That's who you judge me on. So I just love that whole scene of Shad stepping up to the to the parents or to the family. And as a result, the father welcomed him in. So I love that, how that whole scene just did like a complete 180. Like it was going downhill when they found out he went to jail, and then they just turned the other way around. I thought that was brilliant. And we'll end it with my guy Trig. Trig and his feelings now because, hey, Fatima already let it be known that she ain't about to be anybody's secret. Fatima also, hey, had to let him know, like, look, it's not like we official, and since we're not official, Fatima's clearly gonna do her thing. So we got that, and Trig is now in his feelings. So now it seems like he's at a crossroad. Does he continue to put on this politician act and with his pretend girlfriend, or does he just kind of take a page out of Shad's book and just drop the act? Be who you want to be. You don't have to lie to kick it these days, and just be straight up with it, man. And another thing that I did not like about Trig is when he does find out about Jake, getting Jemma pregnant. He wasn't there for Jake as a big brother. He was actually upset at Jake, and he came at Jake like, as a politician, like, damn, you getting a girl pregnant gonna mess up my campaign. So I definitely didn't like that. And of course, Jake was old enough where he saw right through it and was like, man, you don't care about, my situation. You just worry about how it's going to affect your campaign. So I can't wait to see how this goes. I definitely stayed around for the previews for the next episode. Definitely seems like it's going to be some more Tiffany, Keisha, and Emmett mess. Let's see where that goes. Love it or hate it, folks. These are just my opinions. Peace.